What's good, everybody? RJ Sean here, back with another episode of the BD Boys edition. As you see on the screen here, I got my good brother James Muenchow, aka Jimmer. What's going on, man?
Oh, we're playing not 100% today, brother. Went to Arizona last week, had a really good time with some family and friends, celebrated my cousin's surprise 40th birthday. Just got to enjoy. Usually, you like to say you got to enjoy some nice Arizona weather, bro. It was hot as shit. Got to enjoy a few rounds of golf, which again, hot as shit. Came back and now we're dealing with a cold. But we're gonna fight through it. We're gonna fight through the pain because we got a lot of stuff to talk.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and hop right into it here. Packers, man. We want to talk about a first game to go ahead and make a statement. Talk to me a little bit about your Green Bay Packers, man.
Man, they played so well. I guess that's what gave me the cold. I mean, good Lord. We got some steps to talk about. They went through the preseason, which I don't read into much, and we had our questions for this upcoming year. What will the offense look like? They kind of revamped the offensive line. There were some offensive line questions on who's going to play left tackle, but they did some line shuffling, which I thought was good. They signed Aaron Banks, who was one of the best guards on the market. And then, you thought the big question was, what is the secondary going to look like without Jair Alexander? And what is the defensive line going to look like with a new defensive line coach? And can they improve from a very, very lackluster year they had last year? Well, in between all that, Green Bay decides to go off and pull off a block before I'm about to get on the plane to Arizona. Pulls off a blockbuster move. And we talked about it all off season that are they going to make a move for Myles Garrett or Max Crosby? Where I said I don't think they had the money to pay Myles Garrett. And then I just don't see with Pete Carroll as the new head coach of the Raiders, he likes it, a pass rusher, and they have one, so they're going to keep it. Well, I'll tell you this, I was wrong. They decided to trade Kenny Clark, a veteran with a big contract who I thought had been underperforming, and 2 first-round picks, which is shocking because we all know how Green Bay loves their picks, and they love draft capital, and they love drafting and developing to stay young, stay on some rookie contract, and then they go out and trade for all that for Micah Parsons. And we are like, excuse me, what now? That Micah Parsons? Is there a different one? It is that Mark Parsons. Okay. So the NFL got turned on its head because the Packers defense was dramatically improved last year based off of safety play, secondary play from Xavier McKinney, and linebacker play of Edgerrin Cooper. And now all of a sudden you just added one of, if not the best pass rusher in the NFL and biggest game plan buster in the NFL. Like we talked about, people can go back and listen. Is Rashawn Gary a guy? Capital G, capital U, capital Y. And we determined that no, the Packers have a lot of guys, lowercase g, lowercase u, lowercase y, lowercase s. Micah Parsons is not a guy. That's a fucking superstar. That is a Reggie White move that the Packers pulled off in the 90s that evidently got them to winning a Super Bowl in the 90s. That's the potential of that pick. So before we even get to play a snap in week 1, the complexity of the Green Bay Packers team had just flipped on its head and went, holy shit. And the hype couldn't have been more real. And as the hype was real, the game became real. And you saw it from the get that the attitude, we heard it through camp of Jeff Hafley saying and Matt LaFleur saying, I've never seen a defense fly around like this, or I haven't seen his defense fly around like this, like they saw in camp. Obviously, Micah Parsons added juice to that. Let's not deny, let's not call it, let's not say a duck doesn't quack. Micah Parsons added juice to that defense because it's Micah fucking Parsons. But then you looked at the game. Let's look at the game. That Green Bay defense came out. First of all, the offense, first time with the ball, go right down the field, put up 7 and say, hey. And that's not even the way they wanted to play. Like last year, it was run the damn ball, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We're gonna smash mouth you all day. They tried, and then they finessed their way down the field, went perfect on 3rd downs, and went in and scored a touchdown. And you were like, that's a hot start. I like what I saw, and potentially you're doing it on 2 plays because on first downs they ran the ball, I think every first down, and got stuffed mainly. So you're doing it on second and third down, and they went down the field and scored. And then your defense gets a really good stop, and you just see the juice of the defense where you got guys rallying to the ball. You see so many green jerseys. It just looks different. It's a home opener, so it's a small sample size. You know, guys are going to be a little jacked up. You and I have been in home openers before, season openers before. You're a little bit more amped up than usual. But if it just, and it continued through the game though. Like it didn't happen in the first series. It happened in the second series, and then the third series, and the fourth series. And the Lions aren't the same. So let's put something out on the table. The Lions aren't the same Lions as last year. They have two new coordinators because both their coordinators got lost to head coaching jobs. They have a new center and I think a new left guard. I think the left guard's a rookie, and a new center. The center was a Pro Bowler, and I think the other guard might have been a Pro Bowler as well. So you're replacing two really good linemen with a rookie and a replacement. And then also having a new offensive coordinator who doesn't think the same way as Ben Johnson did, who now coaches the Bears, which LOL at the Bears. I can't not laugh at them for that abysmal performance last night. Anyway, I had to do it. And then Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love just looked so insane. It was, and we've seen it before in the past where Green Bay comes out and maybe lays an egg week one because maybe they don't play starters as much. Timing's off. You know, Jordan Love got hurt with his left thumb, so he didn't play much, but he was still able to do reps, which I thought was huge. But they looked mid-season form right off the bat against a really good Lions defense. The Lions defense is still good, and the Lions are still going to be a good football team, but the way they dominated the Detroit Lions, and yes, I'll say it was a dominating performance. Like if you don't call it dominating, it's got to be somewhere close to it, because David Montgomery touched the ball 11 carries for 25 yards, 2.3 yards a rush. Jahmyr Gibbs had 9 rushes for 19 yards, 2.1 yards a rush. And that's Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are, many believe, and it's hard not to argue, that they are the best running back tandem in the league. Sonic and Knuckles. I mean, when you get nicknames, it means you're good. So to hold those two to under 2.5 yards a rush, and then Sam Laporta had a really good game. He kind of had some garbage time at the end. But you looked at their passing game. Jahmyr Gibbs had 10 catches for 31 yards. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown had 4 catches for 45. Jameson Williams had 4 catches for 23. David Montgomery, 4 for 18. There is Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta averaged 11 and 13 yards a catch. But that was, again, in the end in garbage time. There was a point where nobody had more than 40 yards receiving. Like, that is elite defense level shit right there against one of the most efficient offenses that has been in the NFL over the past 2 to 3 years. Like, if yesterday wasn't a dominant statement, then I don't know what was. Because Green Bay then came out, basically said, we ain't playing around this year. And they look crisp, they look focused, they looked determined, and they just had a different aura to them than maybe in years past. So Jordan Love looked absolutely elite. Like, as I said, Jordan Love was hurt all last year, and people were like, are we sure Jordan Love's the guy? Yeah, he's the goddamn guy. I mean, his numbers don't look good. 16 for 22, which is efficient, I'd say, for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's not going to jump off the page. But look at who he was throwing to. Romeo Dobbs, 2 catches, 68. Jaden Reed, 3 catches, 45. Dontavian Wicks, 2 catches, 30. Tucker Kraft, 2 catches, 16. Matthew Golden, 2 catches, 16. And then another 5 guys got the ball as well for another catch. He's just spreading the ball around all over the place. And you fed Josh Jacobs 19 times for 66 yards. Also not very good. Like, their run game, Detroit plays physical. Like, they have a really good front 7. And you tried, and you kind of didn't have success, but then you found success later in the game. So all in all, like, offensively, you did enough. Like, you scored 27 points and the defense went, that's plenty. Don't even worry about it. We got it from the rest of the way. Like, Edgerrin Cooper looks like the best in the conversation for middle linebacker. You obviously saw what Micah Parsons did, just the effect of having him on the field. Lucas Van Ness looked completely different. Like, he didn't even look like the same player. Quay Walker looked like the guy that Green Bay wanted him to be coming out of college, and finally looks really goddamn good. And then you also had Devontae Wyatt, who was disruptive up the middle. And then you had guys like Colby Wooden, who were like, who? I mean, we all know who Colby Wooden is, but that's like your fourth string defensive lineman who has to play more now because Kenny Clark's gone. And he played like an animal. I mean, and then you didn't even hear, the person who had the worst game probably was Javon Bullard. Javon Bullard got beat quite a bit. I mean, they were kind of picking on him. Nate Hobbs didn't play, so I believe Nate Hobbs was probably going to be that nickel corner. But since he's hurt, Javon Bullard stepped into that role. He had a pretty bad game. Like, I'm not going to lie. That was the only downside. Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney, you didn't hear anybody in the secondary's name, really, because they played what they wanted to do. They rushed 4. They played 4 underneath and 3 over the top. There was no splash plays for the Lions. They were dinking and dunking their way down the field. Why? Because Green Bay took that away. And also, again, I would like to think Xavier McKinney being back playing center field really puts fear into trying to go down the field, because he's a ball hawk. He had 8 interceptions last year, I'm pretty sure. So the defense was, Jeff Hafley was cooking. I mean, I watched some film of some guys who were breaking down film. The way he just messes with you, thinking coverage is one coverage, and then he rotates it to a different coverage. That's how they got their pick in the red zone, rolling their coverage over. And then, of course, having Micah Parsons make Jared Goff get rid of the ball so quickly, it also helps. So this team showed that they are not messing around and that they are different. And the acquisition of Micah Parsons really made its presence felt, even though he only played 45% of the snaps. Again, small sample size. And now you have a quick turnaround against the Washington Commanders on Thursday, which I've said is probably the best time to have your shortest turnaround, because it's early in the season. Guys are going to be at their healthiest right now. But other than that, like, I thought it was one of the most complete games I've seen the Green Bay Packers play since Dallas in the playoff game. Like, I haven't seen Green Bay play a more complete game since then. Last year was kind of, they had some moments last year where I was like, you know what, that was a really good game. Like, in Seattle, that was a pretty good game. But on Sunday, I don't think that I've seen more of a complete game since Dallas in the playoff game.
Couldn't agree more with you, man. That was a really good first game for our Green Bay Packers. As my good brother James said, they do face the Commanders this Thursday. That was on Amazon Prime, 7:15 p.m. Man, just keep going ahead and doing what we're doing. I mean, if we're playing like this, we're going to be the top team in the NFL. So,
yeah, I mean, people are like, again, that Micah Parsons trade, I don't think people understand it pretty well, because, again, it's a Reggie White move. Now, is Micah Parsons Reggie White? No, but that's the aura and the juice it brings. Like, the locker room got put on notice, guys, we're here to win, and here's the guy that's going to help us do it. And the things that Micah is saying to the media is like true leadership. Like, that's a dog. That's a leader. Like, that's a guy who, like, he is hell bent. And, you know, the thing of like, oh, what does it feel like moving from Dallas to Green Bay? He loves it. I mean, that's a PR thing. It might just be a PR thing, but I get to focus on ball. And I think that's great. There's not a lot to do around here, and I get to focus on ball. And I think that's great. And then he's hyping up his teammates, and he's only known them for 4 days, about how, you know, I've never seen a team so willing to stop the run. Or he's talking about Lucas Van Ness and his attributes, Rashawn Gary and his attributes. And then he also says, I'm going to help make them better. Like, not just being like, oh yeah, they're good players. No, they're good, but I'm going to make them better. Like, he's saying all the right things. And again, it just brings a different aura to you. And it definitely brings juice to the locker room. Like, oh my God, our front office thinks we're this good to sacrifice all that to bring that guy here, and then pay him the amount he got too. So this might be a franchise-altering – this is a franchise-altering move. It looked like it on Sunday, and you can only hope that it just continues.
Special season for our Green Bay Packers, man. Can't wait to go ahead and see what we do this next game and many more. Moving on over here to our Milwaukee Brewers. They went ahead and lost to the Texas Rangers last night 5-0. 89 and 56. We got a 7.5 game lead in the NLC. We got to start going ahead and at least pick up this one tonight while we're recording. And then it's going to be a tough schedule to go ahead and close out this month. Talk to me a little bit about these Milwaukee Brewers, man.
This team is one of the more special teams I think I've ever seen in my lifetime, with lack of superstar. I mean, you and I grew up with the CC Sabathia superstar, put the load on your back. You know, that team was the little engine that could, you know, it needed a guy like CC to take the ball every 3 days in the last 12 games to put them in the playoffs. And then we watched 2011 with those superstars. That team had superstar power. Come 1 game short of a World Series or a National League pennant to go to the World Series, or maybe even 2 games short. I think it was 2 games short. And then we had 2018 with more superstar power, come 1 game short of a National League pennant. And then you saw consistency through the years of 90-win seasons, playoff berths, national NL Central titles, which is great, but then you get one and done in the playoffs. So now this team having not only a 7.5 game lead on the Cubs, who are still a very good baseball team, they also have the best record in baseball to potentially also get home field advantage for the playoffs, while also not having to deal with that 3-game series and go straight to 5. And I think that's what this Brewer team is built on, is longevity, that anybody can beat anybody in 1 game, even in 3 games. Like, it's hard. That's hard. But if you give them 5, where you have to beat us 3 times, we've seen it. The Brewers are a tough out if you have to try to beat them 3 times. They're just built for that. They're built with speed. They play stellar defense. They pitch really well. They're a little beat up right now. The bullpen's a little beat up, and they just hit the ball. And they've been better timely hitting, which has been their Achilles heel the past couple of years. Texas is good. Texas is always a good team. So, you know, this is a tough opponent. If you take 2 out of 3, I think you're still good. But this is potential to not only be one of the best teams this is the best team in baseball, and also it has the potential to be the best team in franchise history, because I think the franchise record for wins in a season is 97. They're at 89, and they have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17 games left, and they need only 8 wins. So they go 500, they could easily break it. They could get to 100 wins. You play the Los Angeles Angels, who are not good, the St. Louis Cardinals, who are pesky, which, by the way, we're going to be there on Sunday for that game. Just a note for everybody there. And we get to see the Miz pitch on Sunday. I just saw that. Oh boy, you and I, we're going to be in for a treat on Sunday. We get to watch the Miz pitch. But you play the Cardinals twice, and then you got the pesky San Diego Padres, who are fighting for a playoff spot. So that, you know, you might have the division clinched by then, because when you start that series, you have 6 games to go. You might get swept that series. You know, that's when you get everybody right, because you're going to have a first-round bye. You're going to have a lot of time to sit. And then you finish with the Cincinnati Reds, who are also fighting for a playoff spot. So you could potentially, you know, I don't know how Murph is going to handle it. Usually he's old school, but if there's guys who are nursing some injuries, you're going to see them sit a lot. Christian Yelich, for example, you just saw him sit all last weekend. He did play yesterday, but it's going to be a good time to get guys right and get ready for hopefully a very long playoff run. But this Brewers team is special. They're going to be a tough out if they can go right to the 5-game series. And then if you get to 7 games, they're going to be even tougher, because then you have to beat them 4 times. And again, the last time the Brewers lost 3 in a row was against the Cubs, which 2 of them were in 1 day, and on a day-night doubleheader, and then they lost the next day. Other than that, they've lost 2 in a row, they've won 2. They lost 2 in a row, they've won 2. They've kind of been through, but then again, if they get hot again, which everybody in the MLB I know is praying that they do not get hot again, well, because look out. because the hot teams in the playoffs obviously go far, but we've seen this Brewer team, even when they play their bad games, they win. Like, we've seen it. They've been down 5-0. They come back, they win. They have a never say die attitude, just like their manager. They really are taking the identity of Pat Murphy, which I think is great because I think Pat Murphy is a godsend of a manager. I mean, that guy is like different. Like, first of all, him bringing out pocket pancakes, pocket quesadillas is just, what on earth is this guy doing? It's fantastic. But the way he just fights for his players, the attitude that he has, you could see the team really took on that attitude instead of what the Craig Counsell attitude was, which was a lot pretty submissive. You kind of see Chicago taking that form a little bit. So it's just a really good thing to see. Hopefully they can hold on to the best record, or at least hold on to a first round bye, so you can just go right to the first round, the NLDS series, which is the best of 5. Because I think in a best of 5 series, the good teams shows who the good teams are because of longevity, and the Brewers are built for longevity. So if you get swept by Texas, again, Texas is a really good team. You got Chad Patrick pitching tonight. That's your 5th starter. So kind of about bottom of the barrel. And Leiter's pitching. I think Leiter is actually a pretty decent pitcher. Hopefully you can get one, and then you got Fastball Freddy going tomorrow. So that could be another one. Hopefully you get 2 out of 3. If you get 2 out of 3 with Texas, I think you're good. Because Texas is going to be there also fighting for a World Series spot, I think, as well. So we'll see. But the Brewers right now, again, this is probably one of the best Brewer teams in our lifetime. Like, we didn't get to see the 82 team go to the World Series and lose in Game 7. We've only gotten to see the 08 team, the 2011 team, and then the 2018 team. And then, obviously, more playoff teams were there, but they weren't, like, playoff teams. They were just like, okay, we got there. Last year we thought was the playoff team. Like, okay, we're going to make a run. And then you ran into the buzzsaw of the New York Mets on the last inning. Like, you ran into heartbreak. This just feels different. The attitude is different. So you're hoping that getting into the 5-game, again, what I'm hoping is getting into that 5-game series really, really makes a difference instead of being in that 3-game series, because the margin for error in a 5-game series is obviously a lot bigger, and there's less pressure. I think if you drop one in a 3-game series, your next loss is you're done. You drop one in a Game 5 series, okay, we can bounce back tomorrow. Let's go win tomorrow, and then we can win the next day, and then the next day we're out. So the longer the playoff series gets, I think the tougher the Milwaukee Brewers will become. So again, focus on making sure you get that first round bye and go right to the NLDS. Even if you don't get the full home field advantage for the playoffs, just get to Game 5. Just get to the Game of 5 series. So if you get to the best of 5, I think the Brewers have a really good shot to go to the World Series.
No, absolutely. Just a good old Google AI overview. Way to win baseball games. To win a baseball game, a team must score more runs than the opposing team by the end of the game. Let's just keep up with the Brewers.
It's a simple fucking game. Yeah, it's a simple game.
Let's just keep on doing that.
Yeah, simple.
But no, it's always good. Special time, especially with our Brewers right now. Let's try to keep that going.
Yeah.
Let's move on over to college football. We got our Wisconsin Badgers going ahead, and they already took down 2 games already. They're 2-0. One game was against Miami, Ohio. They won that 17-0. And then they went ahead and faced Middle Tennessee State 42-10. They got a big one coming up this week against, obviously, Alabama. That one is in Alabama, ranked 19th, 11 o'clock a.m. What are we thinking, man? But what are you thinking just as you saw these 2 games and obviously rolling in Alabama?
I didn't I'll be totally honest with you. I didn't watch any of the Miami, Ohio game because I was on a flight. I'm kind of glad I missed that game because, once again, another year plagued of the starting quarterback goes down in game 1. 17-0 against Miami of Ohio. I mean, Miami of Ohio, it's not like a pushover school, but they're not like Big Ten type deal. But you threw a shutout. It's hard to throw shutouts in college football. Yeah, I don't care who you are, unless you're like Alabama playing Louisiana Tech Institute of the Arts or something like that, But it's, and you're like, damn, another starting quarterback goes down. Let's see what happens. Then you go to Middle Tennessee. You struggled in the first half, and then you really just broke it open in the second half. You really showed, like, okay, we're Wisconsin, you're Middle Tennessee, we're going to start putting the belts to ass now. I think they got a really good wide receiver core. I think they got some young studs there. They look like they have some speed. Again, the defense looks like how that defense plays with Mike Tressel. Psychotic, very aggressive, very physical. So that didn't surprise me at all. I like seeing with the offense in the sense of how they're playing the game. Sometimes under center, we're going to hand the football off. We're going to ram it down your throat, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We're going to use the 330-pound farm kids from little town rural Wisconsin to push bodies out of the way and pummel you and control the football game. But then they go, okay, we're gonna run it out of shotgun now. We're gonna throw it. It's a really, really good balance. It looks better. It looks more cohesive instead of the damn air raid that we had to endure for the past 2 years. So you got Miami. I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to look like for this week. I haven't heard Luke Fickell talk. But going into Alabama, I don't care what Alabama's in, because Alabama is not the same Alabama. Let's just throw that out there. This isn't the Nick Saban Alabama anymore. They're worse, a lot worse from the Nick Saban standard. So, with that being said, Wisconsin to beat Alabama? No, it's in Alabama. That's a tough place to go and try to play. I mean, going on the road anywhere in college football is tough to play. You've gone to Northwestern, one of the smallest stadiums in the Big Ten, and that's a tough place to go and play. This is Alabama. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff. There's going to be Alabama fans there at 4 a.m. I think some of them are going to go home. They're going to be out at the bar still too, and then just go back house and then just keep rolling. Like, it's different. So they got back on track last week. I'm not going to say it's not possible, because anything is possible. This is probably one of the worst Alabama teams in recent memory. So it is possible that they do it. I just don't see it, because I don't know what your quarterback situation like. If the first string quarterback, I forget his name, Billy Thompson, I don't know. I'm not very good with names. If he was healthy, they'd have a really legitimate shot. But if it's the second string guy who played against Middle Tennessee, and he actually didn't have a bad game. Now, I mean, again, it was against Middle Tennessee. Danny O'Neal, he was 23 of 27 for 283 and 3 touchdowns. He had 1 pick. That's not bad. And then Lance Mason had 7 receptions for 100 yards and 102 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, they can do it. I'm just not going to pick them, because, again, if this was a neutral ground stadium, I'd be a little bit more inclined to maybe be like, you know what, I think they can really pull this off. It's not in a neutral site. You're going into the Lions' Den. You're going into Roll Tide country, and that place is different. The stands are going to be packed 2 hours before game time. They're going to be loud. They're going to be drunk. They're going to be singing that Roll Tide song. They're going to be going nuts. It's going to be 11. Thank God it ain't under the lights, because if it was under the lights, that might be a problem. But it's 11 a.m. You get the game up and over right away. I know you've said you hated 11 a.m. games with everything that you had in your fibers. But I'm going to say I think Wisconsin can keep this close. I think they can. I think it might be a 10-point game. But if they want to win, and again, I've heard me say this so many times, because now they can actually do it, and now that they are doing it, run the fucking football, control the game, get out to a lead, quiet the crowd, let the defense eat, and see what you can do. But we'll see if Alabama's speed is too much for Wisconsin. We'll see what kind of athletes Alabama has. Wisconsin's athletes can still hold up to the caliber that is Alabama. It's still Alabama, so they still got some 5 stars. We'll see what they can do. If it's close, then I have some really, really good high expectations. Not high expectations, but think that Wisconsin then could be a bowl-eligible team. Because I think that's the goal this year. Become bowl-eligible. Just get your 6 conference wins. If you can stay within 10 of Alabama, I think that makes that feeling stronger of, you know what, then we can be bowl eligible, because, again, their schedule is tough. I mean,
yes, it is.
After Alabama, you have home at Maryland. You should win that game. Not that Maryland's bad, but it's home. You got to win your home game. And then you go to the Big House. Yikes. Again, I've seen Michigan teams that even when they're bad, that you go into the big house, you can get knocked off. And then you got Iowa at home. That should be a win too. Iowa doesn't look very good this year. And then you get the Natty champs coming in at home. If you knock off the Natties, which, God, I hope so. I hate Ohio State so fucking much. That could be the make or break of your season where, yep, that's your bowl eligible win right there. Because then you go to Eugene, Oregon. Yeah, that ain't happening. I'm sorry. But do you believe in miracles? This isn't 1980 anymore. We're not talking about the United States versus the Soviet Union. That ain't happening. And then you got Washington at home. That should be a win. Washington is not a good football team. And then you go to Indiana. That could be a toss-up. I don't know what Indiana's going to look like come November 15th. And then you got Illinois. Illinois is ranked 9th right now. That's shocking. Like, that's sneaky. So you don't know what Illinois is going to do. That's Brett Bielema coming back to Camp Randall. You know, you hope maybe you knock off, and then you got to go to Minnesota and try to regain the axe, which going into Minnesota still is an easy task. I mean, going anywhere, and again, I've said it, say it once, say it 1,000 times, going anywhere in college football is not easy. So if you can stick close with Alabama, I honestly think you could probably get those 6 wins somewhere. You know, if it is knocking off Ohio State, if it is knocking off Illinois or going to Indiana, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. But I'm sorry that Eugene, Oregon game just ain't happening. Let's just put a stamp of an L right next to that game right now, because they're going to get dog walked on that game. I'm sorry. Whatever the spread is. I mean, I said the same thing about them last year, and it was a 3-point game, but you were at Camp Randall. You're going to go to Eugene, Oregon. You've played there. It's different. It's not the same. It's not the same. We'll see how they do, but I'm still probably going to take Alabama. I think Alabama probably wins by 10 because, again, this isn't the Nick Saban Alabama. This is a different Alabama. They're not as good, but we'll see how Alabama's raw athletes that they still can do. They still get their 5-star kids can do against Wisconsin's hometown Midwest guys that some are diamonds in the rough where you're like, oh, this kid was a 3-star, but he's going to get drafted in the first round type deal. You know, you never know. So we'll see if they can compete, if Luke Fickell can get them in the mind right, and maybe turn some heads in this game. 11 a.m. We'll see. But I think it'll probably be Alabama by 10.
So as of right now, BetMGM, they got Alabama minus 20.5 points right now. If I'm anyone, I'm hammering Wisconsin to cover that 20 and a half.
That's a lot of points. I don't think
that's many points.
That's a lot of points. I would take Wisconsin. Jim Bob Cooter picks right now. Take the point.
And the over and under is the total is 46 and a half.
That's a tough one, actually.
That's so you got them plus.
That's low,
Alabama minus 20 and a half, and your unders the over unders 46 and a half.
I'd
hammer
the over. Hammer the over.
Hammer that
over. Over club. I'm gonna have to get on my app after this. We're gonna have to put in some investments. Wow. Oh my goodness. God. All right. Well,
that's crazy.
Over clubs and dogs, baby. Over clubs and dogs.
There it is. So, but yeah, no, that's gonna be fun. 11 a.m. We're gonna see what this Badger team's about, man. We want to go ahead and see what's gonna happen. I just can't wait to see. I said this earlier when I do my own little thing on this. I just want to see guys who are going to be the playmakers on both sides of the ball. Who are the guys that you're going to be like, you know what, that guy right there and that guy over there, we know that we can ride with them. That's what I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see that.
Yep, somebody's got to be it. And honestly, Vinny Anthony and that Mackey, whatever, he has such a tough last name.
The Hawaiian homie.
Kikahuna, what a great last name.
Yeah, Kikahuna. That's actually exactly how you say it.
Kikahuna and Lance Mason, they got a good wide receiver core. I mean, is it the best in the country? No, but is it a good? Yeah. Like you saw what they can do, even though it was against Middle Tennessee. They got speed, and the offensive coordinator sees that, and he tries to get the ball in their hands. So, and that's what smart offensive coordinators do. So, they don't have the all-star running back anymore like they used to. Like you and I growing up, you always knew Wisconsin had some running back there that was either going to be a speed demon and nobody could catch him, or he was going to be the size of a fullback and he's just going to run through everybody.
Right.
So they don't have that. So they're going to have to figure out ways to, if they want to run the football, they're going to have to find ways to do that. So because they didn't have a lot of success against Middle Tennessee, I'll tell you that. Looking at the stats right now, they did not have a lot of success. I mean, 10 for 36 for Dylan Jones, Darian Dupree 6 for 25, but then you had Kiko Huna had the end around for 61. Vinny Anthony, another end around. Yakimelli 4 for 15. It's nothing that jumps out of the page from you. I mean, hopefully it's just another case of we don't want to put anything on film for Alabama. We want to save the kitchen sink for Alabama. We want to save the kitchen sink, for what we're doing. We just want to get our basics down. So we'll see, though. I don't know, but I'm going to still pick Alabama by 10. I think it's going to be a close game because I think Wisconsin can compete, but I'm definitely taking that 20.5. That is a lot of wood to cover. And then I'm hitting the over on the 46.5. So ride on the dogs and overs. Let's go.
Absolutely. And before we go ahead and take you out here, we can go ahead and step aside away from the good Wisconsin sports talk and talk about a little bit of PGA and the Ryder Cup. Obviously, all of the team is set. We got our 1 through 12?
12.
Or is it 1 through 9? 1 through 12?
12.
Talk to me about it.
12.
Talk to me about this real quick here before we go ahead and get off here.
All right. So for the United States American team were Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler, obviously, J.J. Spawn, Justin Thomas, Bryson DeChambeau, and Harris English. So then it left 6 guys. Oh, and Russell Henley, I'm sorry. It left 6 guys to pick. Ben Griffin was a pick. He was 8th in the stand. I think he was 8th or 7th in the standings. Colin Morikawa and Justin Thomas, obviously. You're not going to leave those guys at home. And then that's when it started to get tricky. Your captain was 9th, I believe, and he did not pick himself. And he even admitted, this was probably his best year. He could have made the Ryder Cup, but he was captain, and he's worried about being a captain. You know what? No problem with that. So then he chose Sam Burns, and Sam Burns is a competitor. That dude's a dog. He's not, he's not Tiger Woods. He's not Scotty Scheffler, but he's going to compete, and he's going to make some shots. And then you got Cameron Young, who he is just a putting master. That dude can putt. And in order to win Ryder Cups, you need to putt. So short game and putting and match play is going to be huge. And then to round it all out, Patty Ice, Patrick Cantlay, that's a Ryder Cup guy. He finished 14th, but that's a guy who, no matter how bad he's playing, he's gonna show up and he's gonna win. It's an event that just brings the best out of him, and he makes big putts and big moments, big shots and big moments. No matter what kind of year he had, he just always turns up. Are they the favorites? Absolutely not. They're not the favorites to win this Ryder Cup. And you may ask why. Well, let's go to Team Europe. There is no names, if you follow golf, on this European team that you don't know. Ludwig Ahlberg, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, Tyrell Hatton, Rasmus Højgaard, Victor Hovland, Shane Lowry, Robert McIntyre, Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Justin Rose, Sepp Straka. Those are all household names. That's a powerhouse of a team. And all of these guys think, except for maybe Højgaard, I might be wrong, but all of these guys have played a Ryder Cups before, where the United States have won almost every event, or because you get 5 matches, a max, for the Ryder Cup. Scotty Scheffler is going to play every day in every event. Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas might play 4, and Bryson DeChambeau might be the only other guy that plays 5. You got to ride the superstar power on this team. Obviously, you got to give guys breaks, but Scotty Scheffler did not have a very good Ryder Cup last go around. You need him to be your workhorse, because he wasn't the workhorse last time you went to Rome. Justin Thomas was your best American last time out. He lives for the Ryder Cup, so you hope that he continues. You definitely hope bounce starts kind of. I mean, he didn't have a bad year, but it wasn't the Colin Morikawa we're used to seeing. Bryson played every major great except for one. Actually, I think every major he played really good, I want to say. I thought there was one major he didn't play so well, but he's a big-time player for big-time moments. So, and with his length and how he plays his game and how he loves energy and how he loves the Ryder Cup, I think it's huge, and it was a mistake to leave him off the Ryder Cup from last year or from last time. So it's on American soil. It's one of the hardest things to do in sports for a country to go in to another country and win on the road. America hasn't done it in a while. Europe did it 2 Ryder Cups ago in Medina. So Europe has the Ryder Cup right now. The United States needs to win 14.5 points out of 28.5 to regain it. They're going to have home field advantage. I will break down the course of Bethpage Black, which if you want to do your own research, go for it. It is not easy, and it looks US Open-esque. It's skinny, it's very narrow, and it just doesn't look, because Whistling Straits looked very easy for the players. I mean, yeah, there's fescue and everything like that, but that was a shorter course, and the Americans dominated that. This is going to be a completely different golf course. It's going to challenge the players a little bit, but it's match play, and match play brings out players that take some risks, be aggressive, but we'll talk about that more when it's on September 26th, which is a Friday morning. I think the first tee time's at 6 a.m. our time and 7 a.m. their time, because the sun starts going down really early, and they do 2 18-hole rounds in one day for 4 events. I love the Ryder Cup. I think it's one of the better things in sports. If you're a casual golf fan, tune in for it. It's a totally different event than watching any other golf tournament. You're cheering for a team. You're not cheering for a player. You're cheering for your country. It's emotional. Guys get heated. Guys get into it. It's awesome. It's truly one of the better things in sport.
No, absolutely. It's always good when we go and have those rivals between obviously a country and another country. And why not with golf, man? It's going to be something to watch when that time comes.
Yes, sir.
Well, we are back on the saddle, my good people. We're riding into the sunset until we can't find it anymore, until it's never. We appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys have a great week, great weekend. See ya.
Say your prayers, eat your vitamins.